Roads? It's the Ernest Hancock Show. Where we're going, there aren't any roads.
Welcome back to Declare Your Independence with me, Ernest Hancock, here in Phoenix, Arizona, from the studios of Freedom's Phoenix at the Farm. Now, let's go ahead and go through this real quick. I wanted to make sure that you just kind of understood my mindset on this. I'm just going to go through a lot of the stories that we have here and just kind of give you just a brush over, just some of the things that popped out at me. And we don't go over a lot of these because there's just so much. An on-off switch for anxiety. With the flick of a precisely placed light switch, mice can be induced to cower in a corner in fear or bravely explore their environment. The study highlights the power of optogenetics technology, which allows neuroscientists to control genetically engineered neurons with light, to explore the functions of complex neural wiring, and to control behavior. I'm so shocked. And this will fall into the hands of benign, great, wonderful people that want to control us to make us happier and better. Not. So when you see something like they're on-off switch for anxiety, on and off. Okay, I'll let you think about how that might be used on your own. Next story. Low power memory from nanotubes. A new type of non-volatile memory based on carbon nanotubes has dramatically lower power requirements than current technology. It uses the nanotubes to read and write data to small islands of phase change materials which store information. With further development, the new technology could extend battery life in mobile devices and also make desktop computers more efficient. This is another mechanism by which you can have your laptop last a year on a charge. Your laptop being able to process information much faster because of the ability to transfer electrons on nanotubes more quickly, or with less heat, or with more power pushing behind it, or, there's all kinds of little bitty technology. I remember carbon nanotubes being discovered back in the 80s. I think it was a Popular Science magazine. I remember them talking about it then. And already I understood it's called buckyballs back then. They were closed spheres of carbon. So you want nice little roller bearings? I mean, I was thinking about, this is going to be great for frictionless or reduced friction in having some kind of a substance that would be like graphite, that you would have much reduced friction in things like automobiles and bearings and all this kind of stuff. But it never even crossed my mind that you would be able to unzip a nanotube or a ball and open it out and have very thin, strong paper. Let me give you an example. They're talking about taking and having a sheet of nanotubes, less than a sheet of paper, put the point of a pencil on it and the weight of an elephant and it not pierce it. That's the strength that we're talking about. And it being very light. This is spacecraft stuff. This is station making. This is materials that will be whatever you need it to be for, making parts of whatever, and it be very light. I do a lot of, making things and shelves and tables and everything, and I 2x4s, 2x6s, 4x4s plywood, man. I mean, I'm just heavy. What happens when you go down to Lowe's, Home Depot, and you start getting 4x8 sheets of carbon fibers, carbon sheets. This is composites made of carbon and epoxies, and they keep changing too. It'd be like cardboard that steel that weighs 2 pounds, 4x8 sheet. This is what's coming. A lot of it's here. The military just gets it and they won't let us play. Okay, next one. This is a high-tech thing. I saw this, and I could see what this was. Iran builds a flying saucer. Then, of course, they'll show, a saucer. And it was an aircraft created by Iranian scientists is, they claim, the world's first flying saucer. Called the Zohal, or Saturn in English, it is an unmanned spaceship designed for aerial imaging but can be used for various missions. And they really made this up to be more than it was. And I started getting this from several people. It came from those that you know that post on Freedom's Phoenix that you'll see, we got to go get Iran, get the Muslims. We got to have another war. And this it obviously was to try and build up some anxiety, flip on our anxiety switch about Iran. Iran's getting technology, ooh, we got to be afeared. Because remember when Saddam Hussein were talking about, oh, yeah, we're going to use our balsa wood aerial drone to deliver whatever, and they just kept making a big deal out of that. What a joke. Well, we all knew that was crap, but, now they're trying to build up this threat with Iran. They always want to go to Iran. Flying saucer. Okay. Then we have Hip Deep in the Big Sandy. An article by L. Neil Smith that's on the front page of Freedom's Phoenix right now. It's interesting to have someone like him. L. Neil Smith was a big influence on a lot of the activists here in Arizona, and certainly myself, and we became good friends. He's a science fiction author that's been hardcore libertarian since the 70s. And in his science fiction novels, of which he's won many awards, Prometheus Awards for various novels, and espousing what the principles that he has of libertarian, which is hardcore, no compromise. That's where we get a lot of our fuel from. He goes, the first paragraph, I woke up one morning last week to discover that, thanks to a marriage of convenience between Secretary of State Hillary Rodham Clinton and a number of Republicans, starting with Sarah Palin, President Barack Hussein Obama has authorized the American military to take part in establishing a no-fly zone across Libya, ostensibly in support of individuals in rebellion against longtime dictator Muammar Gaddafi. Now we hear that our Navy has launched 112 Tomahawk cruise missiles at Libya in what has been described as a limited military action. You know what they're calling it now? It is a kinetic action or kinetic force or some kinetic, I don't know what. We shot them. It was a projection of kinetic force or something. I'm like, seriously, they got to keep coming up with this stuff. Maybe we'll come across that article here in a little bit. But I just, so here you have a libertarian's view on this thing. It's just like, wow. And it's a lot of things you'll hear from a lot of people like Dr. Paul. Another thing that we had is Kucinich. I may even play part of that. He was on Russia Today and talking about what Obama has done is an impeachable offense. Wow. Now, Kucinich brought impeachment charges against the Bush administration for this same thing. Did not be inconsistent. Here he comes saying, yeah, will he run for president against Obama? Would he get the peace vote? Is there a peace vote out there? Have they suppressed it enough? Have they taken it over and cast it to the winds, chopped it up? That's what Move On did. Move On was, I saw it happen. It was a Cindy Sheehan, Camp Casey thing in the 2004 election. I was down in Tech, and I was sat there and watched. We've interviewed Cindy about this and what happened, why, and how. And it was no immediate withdrawal, Cindy. You got to start saying phased withdrawal. We should pull all support. No, immediate withdrawal, fine. Pull all support, she's scum. Everything they could do to say how bad she was. Why? Because they're part of the military-industrial complex. Where do you think all this money comes from? All right. Next story. 44.1 million Americans on food stamps, up from 17.5 million in 2001. In a decade, what is that? Almost triple? And wow. And we're supposed to think what? What are the criteria you're looking for? Keep people from revolting by keeping them fed. Because they go hungry, bow, bow, bow. They want change. That will bring them food, calories in their belly. It's really no more complicated than that. So what can we learn from the Japanese tsunami? And what did it teach us about prepping for emergencies? This has been a wake-up call for a lot of people, certainly live in California. Earthquake fault there, and a couple of nuke plants on the coast. Okay, all right. Hopefully we're learning something. We're preparing for it. And then we start seeing laws that are campaign for laws right here in Arizona to limit hoarding. You're not allowed. You might get in our way when we come kick in your door. We don't need a bunch of trash in front of us as we want to ransack clear if we can't get past the front door. Central planning. Well, Chinese are going to show us how that's working out when they got 63 million vacant apartments. What are they going to do, move people in? Maybe Obama would do that. He's our landlord now, you know. Uncovering the secrets and exposing the lies. That's what readers of freedomsphoenix.com get every day. Readers of freedomsphoenix.com are constantly provided the information that detail the real news between the lines of propaganda about government policies and the true relationship we all have with coercive governments. Learn the true condition of our economy, innovations and technological breakthroughs in energy, health, computer science, and space travel. Learn the truth well before it's admitted to in the lamestream media, the media that is so last century. Corporate media has evolved into nothing more than distributors of government propaganda, but we now have a fantastic alternative. FreedomsPhoenix.com provides constant news updates on the issues that affect our lives in the most important ways. Our liberty and our property are under constant attack, and FreedomsPhoenix.com provides the understanding behind the propaganda while encouraging the participation of our readers. Join us at FreedomsPhoenix.com. That's freedoms with an S, Phoenix.com. FreedomsPhoenix.com, where the revolution between the ears has already matured.